Welcome to episode 16 of the Action Toon Bros. Woo! My name is Matthew Lewis.
And this guy is Ben Sturgeon.
And this week we are covering, episodes 6 through 10?
Yes, 6
of
through 10.
Season 2 of Young Justice.
Oh yeah, that's right, because there's only 20 episodes, so we're going to
we're doing about
four episodes of 4 podcast episodes with 5 actual episodes.
We're doing 4 blocks of 5.
Thank you. That's a better way of putting it. From now on, that's
we've had this complicated discussion several times already regarding how this is supposed to work.
And we'll keep having it.
Of course. I'll turn the game down a little bit.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, since I was peeking on the thing.
Anyway,
technical problems.
So yeah, this is crazy. I mean, we've already talked about those first 5 episodes, and whew, these are already built up. Lots of info.
I know I have all these dang notes, and I got to figure out where exactly we were at the end of the last 5. We did figure out where we are now. Episode 6, Bloodlines.
Yep, Bloodlines.
Opens on a weird ash-filled... it opens on a weird ashy-filled sky, which we're like, what the heck's going on? We see an old man in a prison jumpsuit talking to some weird brown-haired kid. Yep. The kid warns him that whatever, if it works, it works, and the only one person can fit inside this weird machine.
Yeah, because the one bald guy who's wearing the prison duds is like, I wish I could go with you, and then the weird brown haired kid's like, sorry, only fits one.
Yep. Cut to Mount Justice. Nightwing is deciphering the Krolataean intel. By Robin, my notes is Tobin for some reason, and Beast Boy approach.
Tobin. They walk in, and of course, they're like, hey, what are you up to? And he's talking about the Krolataean data that he got from that Martian Manhunter and
Magan got last episode. Yeah, that we were confused. I was like, why were they 2 weird Krolataeans in the ship when they got back to the ship? And didn't make any sense.
And of course, Nightwing starts describing that in the data, the humans that they captured were supposed to be some kind of captives and guinea pigs for something a word that really has no translation. But the closest they could come up with was metagene.
Now, this whole running arc that we go through for these episodes is very confusing to me because I'm used to DC stuff. Nice clunk with the mouse.
Sorry.
For when the metagene is a known thing in all other DC properties, and it's a word that's said nonstop in all the CW shows. So in this world, it being said for the first time was very confusing. I was like, wait, they keep talking, they didn't know that word. Everyone said they say the word every other sentence in goddamn Black Lightning and stuff. It's
did they?
They say it all the time.
I don't watch the CW shows. So.
Oh yeah, no, they say it constantly. I was like, wait, they don't know what a metagene is in this universe. It's so weird.
Well,
Robin doesn't know what that. Tim Drake Robin does not know at all what that is, and it's suddenly crazy energy signals inside of the base. And
it's warning, energy detected.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, we see that one
kid from the opening pop out.
One kid from the opening, he pops out in this
white and tan, white and red,
red, white, tan kind of outfit with yellow goggles, and he runs super fast like a speedster.
Ta-da!
Yep, ta-da!
That's where we get the intro.
Yep, and that's where the intro comes in. After the intro, they're like, whoa, what are these impulses? And the kid's like, impulse? I like that name.
Yeah, and it's Impulse. He's voiced by Jason Marsden, who you may recognize for Tito from The Weekenders, or Max Goof. He's been in the show. He was voices some other people too. But he's a big voice actor. He's super hyper and all over the place, and he knows everyone's identities, just hopping around being weird. He starts exploring the caves, and he gives Beast Boy and Tim a run for them, run around, just
literally the run around. And of course, they're like, yeah, we can catch him easily. They all. Beast Boy and Robin have a difficult time. It was actually Nightwing that finally just
catches and cuffs him immediately.
Yep. And then of course. When that happens...
he keeps using his weird slang. He's saying, this is so not Crash.
This is so not Crash. Or
feeling the mode.
Yep, there it is. Yep, those are
I was like, okay, so Crash, I wrote slang translation, Crash equals good, and feeling the mode equals bad.
Yeah, apparently the mode is bad, and Crash is good.
Yeah, we cut to Tibet, where we see Roy and Cheshire on their trail of the OG Roy.
Yep, OG Roy. Because, Roy... I'm just going to call him Roy from now on, is like, hey, are you sure this is all right? And Cheshire's like, yeah. And, of course, you need closure for going on a covert ops mission in Tibet. Cheshire decided to bring their daughter along.
Lien is the name of the baby, I believe.
Yep, Lien.
And he's with them for some reason. And we cut back to Impulse saying he's a tourist and many people travel to the past. He also has a really funny line about half the people at Comic-Con being from the future or just people traveling back in the past. I'm curious if this episode aired at Comic-Con or something like that. It feels like it would have.
It probably would have, especially with that. And of course, saying that he's a tourist from the future, Beast Boy goes over and he's like, oh yeah? You know things from the future? When do I become leader? And like, he just asks all these questions. And
he also says finally that he's Bart Allen's son. Or his name is Bart Allen. He is Barry's grandson.
Yeah, Barry's grandson. And
he also knows the identity of Beast Boy and everybody else.
Yeah,
Beast Boy didn't know their identities. He's like, your name's Tim.
Well, yeah, because he's like, he calls Nightwing by Dick Grayson, and he calls Robin by Tim. And of course, Beast Boy's just like, wait, your name's Dick? Your name's Tim? What?
Yeah, very weird that he didn't know that.
and of course, one of the other things he likes to say, after he's like, oh, you're doing the secret identity thing. Spoilers.
Yeah, and this is when Mal shows up to the base, and Impulse uses this opportunity to escape.
Yep, and he just runs out. Is this where we cut to?
We see the Nightwing give him a glass of water before, and he reveals that was a tracker in the water.
Yep, there's a tracker in the water, like a microscopic tracker in the water.
Yep, and this is when Nightwing makes a phone call as we cut to Central City.
Yeah, this is where we go to Central City.
Yeah, where we see all the Flashes are having an anniversary reunion.
Yep, for Joan and Jay.
Yep, Jay Garrick is the OG Flash with the tin hat. So we have
yes, he is. And Barry and Iris are there. And, they're like, yay, 70th anniversary. How's it? Congrats and all that stuff.
Yep.
Barry gets a phone call, and gets a phone call as this is happening. He's like, hey, what's up? Wait, what? What kind of Impulse? Immediately, Impulse runs in and goes, this one!
Yeah, he's so silly.
And he's just like, Grandpa, it's good to see you. Back in your prime and everything.
He's telling everyone, he slips up a little bit there, he gives away but also, he's like going around talking to everybody, spoiling stuff. He already knows that Iris is pregnant, he says, hey to his mom, or to his dad and to his aunt. And
hi Dad, hi Aunt. Wait, you're having twins? I'm having twins?
Yeah, also she's like, Barry's like, she's not even pregnant, what are you talking about? And then Bart's like, or no,
and Iris is like, by the way, I was going to tell you in private.
Yeah.
And of course, oops, spoilers.
Yeah, and of course, like, while he's going around, like, spoiling the future, Wally shows up and says Dick Grayson called him for help.
Yep, and he's just like, dude, Impulse, chill out. You don't want to reveal too much about the future.
Yeah, I know. Iris gets a call about a villain wanting to kill the Flash.
Yep. And
Impulse is scared for Barry to go. He's trying to stop him from going.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, you don't need to go,
It's a weird orange futuristic spacesuit guy firing weird beams, flashing statues all over the place. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm. And of course, as we get a cut from that, and then we see Barry literally like to get out his super suit and just run super fast. And as he's wearing it, and he's like, hey, don't worry, I'll be back in a flash. And of course, Impulse like, does he always do that? And everyone in the room
the whole family's like, yeah, he does. And as he leaves, Impulse follows him out.
Yeah, Impulse follows, who is actually like on par with Barry Allen.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of speed.
The villain is sending out huge waves of destruction all around him, and he looks vaguely like Samus Aran. I wrote in my notes.
Pretty much.
Bart keeps spoiling the future and says again that he's here to see the Flash in his prime. So he keeps reiterating that fact and like being really weirdly suspicious with it.
Yeah, like oddly kind of specific.
And while that's happening, we see aliens saying that they're controlling this villain, Neutron.
And that his powers are actually in really good control.
Yeah.
While one of them says maybe in too much control.
Yeah, and also they are using similar slang like crash and feeling the mode this time.
And then of course, after all of this is happening,
we see Tibet with Roy and Cheshire finally infiltrating the base.
Yep, they're finally going in. Is it actually like a League of Shadows base or something?
I was curious if it was Nanda Parbat, which is where the League usually works out of.
I'm sorry, what?
Nanda Parbat is
Nanda
where
Parbat?
That's like their main focused area. I don't know if that was supposed to be that, because that's like their main big Ra's al Ghul like base. I wasn't sure is that what they're supposed to be right now? They were never clear. I thought it was just a random base.
And of course, like they're like solid snaking it, being all sneaky and stuff. They take out 2 of the guards. And then, as that happens, the little baby decides to make one tiny noise, and they're already surrounded.
Yeah, cut to, and the next frame, they're completely surrounded, like, with all the cuts weapons pointed out. It's hilarious.
And I like it because after that, Roy's like, I told you we should have just kept her at your sister's.
Yeah. Wally shows up to stop the cops from getting into any trouble, and Bart shows up, and he like already knows the villain's name.
It's like, hey, it's Neutron. Apparently, if that's a DC villain.
It's a character.
Is that like a famous one?
Yeah, man, not really.
Because I never knew Neutron until this show.
He's practically.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's Neutron. How do you know his name's Neutron? He totally yelled it
said it at some point, right? Yeah,
Neutron.
They speak while they're with the cops. Bart and Barry start discussing a plan, and they're speaking super fast.
Oh yeah, like they're speaking, and of course, the one cop is like, "Do you understand any of this?" And to Kid Flash, to Wally, and Wally says like maybe every fifth word. Guys, slowly in English, please.
Yeah, and then they like take off, and Bart tells.
We get the plan. Remember?
Yeah, the plan is that they're going to try to run through the intervals of his beam and the shockwaves afterwards.
Right, right. Well, actually, and then with that, isn't this where they also like he's emitting the beam? So they try to do the tornado thing. Yeah. So of course, they're gonna make a tornado on a bigger scale. All three of them, which we learned since in this season, Wally is not actually doing the whole superhero thing. They actually start spinning in a circle.
I was gonna say Bart also tells Wally, "Just follow our lead, kid."
I will so punch you.
It's terrible.
And then so Bart and Barry start doing the circle thing with Wally as well. And Wally is being lapped by Barry. He's like, oh, haha, whatever. And then Bart starts lapping it. He's like, oh, come on!
Yeah, he's really embarrassed by that. They manage to tornado Neutron up into the air, but the energy pulses just keep going and become more frequent, and they're unable to run between them now.
Right.
The aliens are watching, and they say, oh, he'll crash the mode, and if he blows, they start saying more phrases and stuff like that. It's like, oh, hey.
Right, yeah, he's like, you're gonna crash it, dude. And then, isn't this also, like, after this happens... something happens with like Neutron's outfit.
Begins to crack, and he literally just explodes.
Yeah, he explodes in like a big
looks like a nuke in the middle of the town. I'm like, that's awful. That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course it's like, hey, what happened? Yeah, he exploded himself, but then I think it's Wally who has the binoculars. He's like, are you sure about that? Because he's it's not that he's still there. He's literally remaking his body.
Yeah, after they ran out of the base, like Barry and Bart are carrying Wally because he can't run fast as they are when they're running.
Right, yeah, because he's like, this is embarrassing.
He starts restoring his body, and they're confused as to what's going on. The aliens say the control device was destroyed in the explosion, so they decided to blow their lab and leave it. They're like in a weird warehouse lab.
Yeah, they're like in a weird warehouse, but they take whatever evidence they can and just explode the thing.
We see Wally sees the guy coming back, and Flash says he'll run through the spaces even if they're not frequent enough.
Because he's this Neutron guy is like giving off the pulses a little bit faster now. But there's like a nanosecond.
Yeah, it's very, very quick.
Yeah, a very like super brief. So all Flash had to do was run him like to a desert or something before he explodes, and then come back or something like that.
Yeah, Bart tries to stop him, saying, "No, don't do that. It's not gonna be a good idea." And then Barry says, "Don't worry, I'll be back in a flash." As he runs off to do it.
And then of course, as Barry's running, Bart actually runs beside him, and then trips and falls and stops the Flash. In which case, another explosion.
Yeah, just as he explodes, they are saved from this explosion by Jay Garrick and Wally.
Yep.
And Flash says he would have died.
Well, right. Wally's like, dude, you ruined pretty much everything, and that's when Barry's like, except for the whole like sporadic kind of explosions, they kind of shifted in time. So even if I were to run to the desert, I would not have made it.
Yep.
And then they realize that Bart's gone.
Yeah, because he runs up to the guy as he's reforming and tosses some weird blue goo at
him.
Yeah,
it was like a blue capsule, a blue pill. Like puts it in, and the guy is now completely fine.
Yeah, he's a normal naked man now.
Yeah, normal bald naked man.
They ask what happened, and Bart says he must have just ran out of juice.
Yep, Neutron must have ran out of juice, and then the guy's like, "What's going on? Wait." Who's Neutron?
Yeah, Roy and Cheshire beat up all the thugs.
Oh yeah, we go back to Tibet.
Yeah, and they enter a huge ice lab in the middle of this temple.
A big old ice lab with like a whole bunch of tubes, and one of them is, well, the OG Roy with
still
one arm.
Missing an arm. Baby says, "Two dadas."
And in a horrible voice. In a cute scene kind of
crazy.
way.
It was a cute,
But then, after all that, we go back to Mount Justice where Nightwing's like, oh, hey, I did a DNA test on this guy.
Yep.
He is exactly who he says he is. It's like, oh, that's cool. Well, I'm gonna. Sorry to jet, but I'm in a hurry. So
also, they say like we checked the tachyon particles coming off of the machine, and it is a time machine.
Oh, yep. It is exactly. He is exactly who he says, and he did exactly what he did.
Yep.
So Bart's like, yay! I'm gonna go back to my time now. Goes into the time machine, and it like goes.
Yeah, it just powers down.
And of course, one of my favorite Beast Boy lines, because they're like, hey, did it work? And Beast Boy goes, maybe he's going into the future 1 second at a time. Yeah. I'm like, that's clever.
That's very silly.
And of course,
he's like angry, he comes out, he like kicks the machine saying, oh, stupid thing's not working.
Yep. Bart mentions,
I guess I'm stuck here. Oh, it sucks. Yeah.
I'm stuck here. Oh, this is so like crashing the mode. Like this is so part of the mode or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever his thing goes. Which then we go back to
before he left.
Yep, with the weird ashy kind of things.
Yeah, Impulse is being told that the machine is a one-way trip by the bald guy. And we also find out it's 40 years later, and they are in the ashes of the destroyed Mountain Justice.
Yep. But what also happens is the bald guy, who is revealed to actually have been Neutron.
Oh, I'm about to ask. Yeah, happens in a second.
He's like, hey, so you know, like Matt mentioned, you're gonna be going when you go back to the past. That's a one-way ticket, right? And of course, Impulse is like, yeah, but gotta do what you gotta do to save the future, right?
Yeah,
right?
He says I gotta
time
get
to put on my act.
Yeah, he says
gotta
get into character.
And then immediately, the second that Impulse teleports, instead the bald guy who is Neutron, instead of his prison duds, he's in normal clothes. But the ash is still there.
Yeah, it's like Mount Justice is still destroyed.
Yeah, everything is still destroyed, and Neutron is just like, wait, everything was supposed to change. What's going on? Why is this happening? And then
we hit the end of that episode.
Yep, that's where we cut. Now, just like the very first 5 episodes of this of Young Justice for this season, this one just kind of made me, raise an eyebrow. I mean, yeah, we get Impulse from the future. But then, what made me catch my interest with this one was, well, the fact that, he's from the future. He's trying to change it to, make a better future. Which made me think of the Vandal Savage in Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
When Superman, went to the future.
Yeah.
And, Vandal's like, dude, just go back and stop me.
Yeah.
And because when that happened, it kind of was a gradual process, but the future did get better. Mm-hmm. In this one, however, not only was it instantaneous, but it didn't fix. So this made me be like, okay, what's going on? What happened? Why?
Yeah, well, I was thinking more along the lines, of course, 'cause I have to bring it up every time. The Young Justice CW shows, they handle stuff like the Wally and Bart and Jay Garrick and all the other Flashes and stuff like that in very interesting ways. They had very, very stern, set in stone time travel mechanics, because the Flash, that's a common thing that all speedsters try and attempt at some point to change the past or change the future.
Well, yeah, because they can time travel.
Yeah, they do that all the time. But they had very set rules, and then the end of the first season they broke them really stupidly, and they have all kinds of weird things like the evil reverse, or the evil time death speedster Flash, all kinds of stuff like that chase them, and it's a mechanic that they use sometimes, and people are constantly going back and forth to the future. You see characters from the future all the time in that series, and it's annoying eventually. But the way they handle it in this one, I thought was really interesting.
I
feel like him needing an actual machine, because they usually just run to the future or run to the past whenever they feel like.
Right.
It's really weird.
But yeah, in this one, it was an actual machine. I agree. They did handle it very well.
Yeah, it was very interesting how they handled it compared to other ones like that. But
now, speaking of very interesting, this next episode, oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Depths is the name of this one.
Yep, Gordon.
Yep, we start with Tim Curry. G. Gordon, talking about this new way of new communication satellite so that they can talk to their neighbors on Mars.
Yep, specifically the Carol Ferris aircraft. Carol Ferris is the primary love interest of Hal Jordan throughout most of the series. Ferris Airlines is always a prominent thing in all DC things. It's always, Ferris Airlines. It's just, Hal's wife, or future wife.
And of course, as all of this is happening, G. Gordon is talking about how, why do we need to do this? Is old G. Gordon going off his rocker?
Yeah, he's being really crazy.
Being the J. Jonah Jameson of this universe. And of course, One of the, and he's like, "Oh, we're trying to communicate with Mars when already we're being invaded."
Yeah,
and it's very important that he mentioned that.
He talks about how much he hates the thing and all that stuff.
Yep, and then of course
you see Wally watching. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. We go back to the Wally household where Wally is watching this, and we see Artemis with a duffel bag, and Wally does not look happy at all.
Also, we found out that the Impulse business happened a few weeks ago.
Oh, yep, you're right. This whole we do find out because when Artemis is like, "Hey, I'm ready," Wally's just like, "Dude, this shouldn't be happening." And of course, she mentions that he wore his he wore his outfit, and that's when he was like, it was an important. That's when we find out it was a week.
Yep.
But of course, Nightwing
needs her for this
Artemis.
mission and says that nothing could go wrong.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Hard cuts.
Instantly cut to Cape Canaveral, which is where the
Canaveral.
Sorry,
Canaveral.
Canaveral, where the whole satellite thing is happening.
Yeah,
where you get Nightwing pumping Artemis's chest, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, giving her CPR, and
immediately tells Connor and McGann that she's dead.
Yep, and that's what we cut to the intro.
Now, viewers, you're probably asking yourself, that escalated quickly. What's going on? Well, we'll tell you what's going on.
Yep, 10 hours earlier, Mal is talking to the group about Impulse and the real Roy ending up his responsibility, the group's responsibility, despite them saying no, he's at the Impulse is with the Allens and Roy is at the hospital. It's all fine. He's like, no, it's going to be our problem.
Yeah, it's going to be our problem. And then of course, they
have no progress finding out the Light's new partners still at this point.
Yep, they don't know anything about that.
Lagan and Magan are being annoyingly cute.
Mainly Lagan.
Yeah.
Because, dude, honestly, I may have said this once, I'm going to say it again. Dude, I don't like Lagan. He's a weird jerk. His jerkness levels are higher than yours, and that's going somewhere.
That's saying a lot.
Anyway.
Artemis arrives, and everyone is incredibly happy that she's back.
Yeah, they're like, yay! And of course, Artemis is actually really happy to be back, too.
Yeah, and Lagan gives a weird formal intro of, I am glad that you were joining us.
And of course, she's like, and apparently, Artemis knows Lagan because she's actually, thanks, Lagan?
Yeah. Lagoon Boy.
Lagoon Boy. Oh, yeah, that's right. Lagoon Boy is what she calls him. But still, anyway, after that, we finally get the mission briefing.
Oh, yeah. Nightwing gives the mission, right?
Yeah, because what has to happen is they have to oversee the whole operations with the satellite.
Yep.
And, of course, the Justice League is still, not on good terms with anyone because of the whole 16-hour things. So pretty much they have to go in disguise. Some of them disguised and make it look like it's normal and whatever.
Yeah, Artemis says she's there for support, I guess.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be there for some kind of support or whatever. Then we actually...
and also Nightwing's joining on the field because he just wants some action.
Oh yeah, that's right, because Mal's like, hey, so if all of them are going, why are you? He's like, I need a little bit of action. I miss it,
Yeah, we cut to the thing. Now, this shook me. I was like, wait, if they have Superman and Jean at this thing, why the heck do they need the Young Justice team? Because Superman
is not going to do everything. That's what I was thinking, because, Martian Manhunter is there, and of course, Superman's flying in the eye. And, who was it? Who was the,
Carol Ferris?
Carol Ferris is holding a press conference. That's what it was. And as all that's happening, she's explaining all of this, the whole communication or whatever. And she goes to call for questions. When she goes to call for Cat Grant, G. Gordon walks up and just literally arm in front of her face, raises his arm, and she's like, Cat Gordon. And of course, G. Gordon is being his usual self.
Yeah,
does the Earth really want to have these communications?
Yeah, it was also, this is a very interesting thing, and again, because I'm just so jaded by all the other DC stuff. Apparently, Martians are still all over the planet and active.
On Mars?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's what they say. I
know.
I was
very interesting.
They're usually wiped out. That's the reason John came to Earth in the first place.
Originally, yeah, but I guess
most series
just with comic books. Different universe, different.
Yeah.
But still, that is very interesting because you're right. Even in the Justice League universe, that was the case. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yeah, apparently Martians are still a thing. So
yeah, he talked about how they shouldn't be communicating with the Martians. The satellite then Jean comes up and says it'll help us communicate. And he gives a very impassioned speech, and Gordon is just like, I'm not gonna like it.
Gordon's like, oh, I see. Just say your thing and go. I see. And Superman, why aren't you coming on down here? And this is when we find out that Martian Manhunter was actually McGann transformed, and Superman in the air was Connor in a Superman.
Yeah, that was very cool. I was like,
course,
that's why.
Connor's just like, why do you have to do this? Why do you have to? And Megan's like, you're welcome.
Yeah, so no one knows that the Justice League is gone. That's why they have to do this, because that's still going on.
And then we get one of my favorite Connor's
stupid joke.
I hate monkey suits.
So stupid.
It is, but it's great.
That was a terrible stretch. Artemis and Robin are scoping out the area while Lagan waits to be with Megan, or wants to be with Megan. Like, hey, can't you be down here with me? Like, no. And he's like,
no. And he's just like, and for some reason, this is another reason why I hate Lagan, because he's like, I get to be the fish boy, while McGann gets to be up there with Super X.
Yeah.
Neptune's beard.
I think that's
dude,
funny.
Don't get me wrong, the Neptune's beard, I kind of chuckle because that's a dumb thing to say.
It's a funny thing, yeah.
It's funny,
but also,
though.
like, he's right, though. Like, his can't be with his girlfriend because she's like, hanging with her ex. I'm kind of like, that sucks for him.
Well, yeah, but they're going to be, unlike Connor and McGann, where they actually established, hey, we are a couple, but let's keep work to work. I don't think Lagan will have that filter.
Of course not. We see a really wide undersea craft just like going near the bottom of the ocean.
Wait, undersea craft? Could it possibly be
Orm?
Black Manta? You went with Orm?
Oh, yeah.
Darn it, opportunity missed.
It's Black Adam's...
yes, it's Black Adams.
Black Adam, I wish it was Black Adam. Black Manta's boys targeting the ship.
Yes, and of course, we see that, but then it actually cuts to...
Nightwing and Artemis talking about her leaving and Wally gearing up.
Wally's not exactly happy. And Nightwing even is like, I know Wally's probably not happy with me about this.
We also, while they're having that serious conversation, we cut to Connor and McGann having some very, very awkward alone time.
Yeah, and then we actually get to learn some things here because McGann's like, what? We're just not talking anymore? And, Superboy's like, oh, you read my mind again.
Yeah.
And, McGann's just like, look... I mean, I do the things I need, because we need information and stuff. Connor's mad at her because of the way that she does everything. She literally mind blasts them so hard they go comatose.
Yeah.
Like, calling them victims. And, of course, McGann's like, dude, they're the enemy. They're not victims. And then we get probably the basis as to why
the
Connor
actual
broke
answer.
up. Like, the actual reason. Like, apparently they had an argument... And McGann tried to mess with Connor's memories about that argument. And Connor knew it was her.
Yeah, Connor, yeah. And it was
Connor's just like, I thought I mattered to you. I thought you didn't have to do all that stuff.
Yep.
But looks like I was a fool because literally 2 days later... You go to, what was it? The fallback boy from the Black Lagoon?
Rebound guy
from the Black Lagoon. That's what it was.
Just speaking of which, Lagan sees Black Manta's boys, and Connor calls him a rookie. Like, hey, don't rush in, rookie. And he's just like, oh, F you, dude.
Neptune's beard, I hate this, and I'm gonna go,
he dives in. His big puffed up form goes in. The Manta boys infiltrate the land, where Nightwing and Artemis start taking them down. McGann turns into a weird mermaid to join Lagan. She jumps out of the ship. That was a really weird scene.
Right. Well, I mean, at first Nightwing was like, "Hey, Superboy, join Lagan. Get a rebreather and go join." And of course, Lagan forgot to stock up. So McGann's like, "I'll go," and then grows gills and just drops down. It's like, that's weird.
Yeah, she turns into a mermaid. Literally, she turns.
Yeah, she literally turns into a mermaid. And of course, now Superboy has to control the bioship and be like, pew, 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 pew.
Yep. While that's happening, Carol Ferris sees the fighting and wants to know what's going on. Where Black Manta people keep they take out Lagan. They also launch the missiles that they were going to.
Yep. It's like, instead of just waiting, they just launch now because, they're under attack. So Ferris is like, okay, you know what? go into emergency mode, do the final checks. We're launching this in like a minute or something like that.
Incredibly irresponsible.
Yeah, she's like, I want this up in the air now.
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, is she?
I was like, dude, I was gonna say, I get it. You want this to get this up in the air as soon as possible, but don't be stupid, kid.
Yeah, I'm about to say, is she already the villain Star Sapphire when she gets the power of the Violet Lantern ring?
Dude, spoilers.
Yeah, I'm just serious.
Yeah, I know. I always have to pull that at least.
Of course. Artemis keeps pointing out that they're on the wrong side of an explosive
wall.
Of
an explosive wall. And of course, she tries to go up to find an opening and almost gets blasted. And even Nightwing's like, look, I know you're rusty.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get yourself killed?
They realize that the Manta's helmets are for, like, under deep sea, so the light should be bad. So she fires a light arrow, and the Mantans are like, oh, God. They take...
God, no!
While that's happening, the ones underwater take Lagan to the alien allies.
Oh, yeah, well, they put him in pods. They put him in a pod because they take him to, Black Manta. Which, in this case, they already know it's Calder because they call him Calder. Yeah, Calderon, thank you. And, of course, they're like, hey, by the way... we captured this guy, but our land units are having an issue because, our helmets are becoming a liability. And so Calder's like, okay, put Lagoon Boy in a pod. I'm gonna go up there personally.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal with this myself. Artemis and Nightwing take out all the guys on the beach very easily.
And Connor's doing actually a pretty decent job in taking out the missiles. When McGann notices that Lagan's being taken, she's like, I must save him! Mm-hmm. He's like, nope, missiles are top priority. And in this case, she actually does the right thing and goes towards the missiles.
Yeah, she uses stops them. One of them to blow up the whole launch pad. She controls one of the missiles to launch up them. And also I was going to say, back when Artemis and Nightwing were fighting, we see Cal come out of the water really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm going to do it myself.
Oh, no.
Artemis and... she stops the missiles, but she still loses Lagan.
Yep.
Artemis and Nightwing are fighting Cal, and he's just kicking both their butts, of course.
Oh, yes.
Carol still refuses to call off the launch, and it goes off without it.
It goes, and it's like, yay! And Calder's like, we may yet succeed in the mission. Has like a teeny tiny little rocket launcher on his shoulder and shoots a missile at it. And of course, Artemis has a heat-seeking arrow missile, and it follows, and it doesn't get destroyed. Yay!
It works.
And then of course she's like, yeah. Nightwing yells, Artemis, behind you, and all you see is like Calder with like the weirdest wide-eyed look as you hear just like a
yeah,
he's just like,
stabs
welcome back.
Yeah, with a crazy water sword, he stabs her right in the stomach.
Yep, stabs her right in the gut, and so he pulls it out and says, our mission was a failure. We need to... And before he even finishes that sentence, the actual satellite does explode.
Just explodes on its own, yeah.
And he's just like, we're done here. Yeah. And they leave. And then it goes, remember that time when 28, 29, 30?
Yeah, it goes back to the intro
It literally does that. Mm-hmm. And now everyone has to deal with, Artemis being... dead.
Yeah, I'm about to say Connor and McGann show up. Connor doesn't hear a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Connor's like, I don't hear a heartbeat.
And then Robin says he's dead. Underwater, Cal meets with his father, Black Lantern.
Black Lantern,
Black Lanterns are a different lantern. Their ability is...
no.
Black Manta, and we learn it was all a test to see if he took credit for the explosion that Black Manta already planned.
because Calder goes in and he's just like, hey, I didn't... We succeeded, yes, but it wasn't by my hand. The fact that, we didn't succeed, I kind of technically call it a failure. And that's when Black Manta's like, it was a test to see if you would take credit, and you didn't. You are ready for the next level, my son.
Ready for the next level.
Come, son.
The team is really tore up about Artemis's death. They're all mourning. They say, where's Nightwing? He says he went off to tell Wally, because like, he should be here.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I liked it because Mal was just like, kind of seemed offended that Nightwing wasn't there. He's just like, hey, where is he? He needs to be here. And of course, that's when Connor's just like, he went to tell Wally. And like instantly, Mal just went to... Oh,
yeah,
like, ooh. That's bad. And then we cut to Bloodhaven. In a warehouse where Nightwing's just like, hey, Wally, are you here? And then you hear, not Wally.
I would say we see him looking at the photo from the Someday We'll Laugh About This.
Yeah, you're right. Someday We'll Laugh About This.
Yeah, we hear a voice, and it turns out, I'm not Wally.
I'm not Wally.
It's
and then
Cal.
We see, it's Cal. And of course, after Cal, we also see Wally walk in.
And Artemis.
Yeah, and Artemis. I was getting there.
Well, you were taking too long.
and Artemis appears. And so, yeah, first off, Artemis is not dead.
Yeah, we got flashbacks to see all of it was fake.
Yep, all of it was fake. I forget, what they do, like squeeze a certain thing? Or
yeah, we see them, Cal stabbed her with the water sword, but the water sword just went around her side.
Yeah, just went around.
And then when Nightwing went to go tend to her, he you were to crack some kind of pill over her stomach to make it look like she was bleeding. She also took some kind of pill to make her heart stop so they couldn't hear that either. They did a whole bunch of stuff to really fake her death really thoroughly.
Yeah, well, anyway, so...
it was all so that he could be promoted in the organization.
Yeah, apparently it's all... this is all like a deep cover plan where Kaldura is going to go up the ranks of being evil to find out who the Light is and to find out, more about this... what is it? We don't know yet. The partners? The partners, thank you. Yeah, the partners. And then, of course, as that's being said, they need... Artemis is still alive. So they need to find a way to make her not alive still. So...
Oh, wait, before that, we cut to Lagan being pulled onto the ship.
Oh, yeah,
they said they had to let Lagan be taken, and they say that they also regret letting the Krolotans die that he had to do as Black Manta. Mm-hmm. Dick gives Artemis... Then he gives her that weird magic necklace from Zatanna.
Yep, the glamour charm.
Yep, and doesn't say why he needed it, but he does.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, I wonder how you got that and not explained what you're doing. And of course, all he says is, we have a history.
Yeah, of course.
And then, of course, now, Aqualad and did they ever say what her name is?
Not yet.
Okay, and Artemis, that's in the glamour charm. Which, by the way, Artemis notices when she puts on the glamour charm, she looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I think Wally says, she looks exactly the same.
Yeah, but we find out that to the four of them, she's going to look like Artemis. To everyone else, she's going to look different.
Yeah, and this is when she joins Calderon on his ship, and Wally says this is getting even more dangerous than before. This is ridiculous.
Because Nightwing's like, the hard part's over, and Wally's like, dude, don't be an idiot. Yeah. It's only going to get harder from here.
Yeah, it's even worse, and that is when we cut the end of the episode.
Yep, that is the end of
this one, when you were watching it back in the day, what did you think of the twist that he wasn't evil?
Dude, I almost cried. I legitimately, when Cal stabbed Artemis, I nearly cried, both in sadness because Artemis is one of my favorites in this, and she died, and but also in anger because, my God, the other cool character killed one of my one favorite character killed another favorite. And then that twist at the end when you actually see, I'm just like, okay, I literally, when it got to the credits, I just paused it. I'm like, I need some time to think and process this whole thing. It was like, I was so into the story with this episode that I literally just had to stop and be like, okay, hold on. Just hold the frick on.
Yeah, when it first aired, I was really hyped because I was like, oh my God, the whole season I was like, okay, what's the deal with Blood? What's the deal with Cal? Why is he evil? Why would he do all this? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and then the reveal, and then when he kills Artemis, I'm like, oh, there's no going back. He actually killed her. Oh my God,
he's bad. He's evil. There's no possible way they can actually, convince me otherwise. And guess what? They convinced me otherwise.
Yep, it was all a long ploy, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, that's really cool.
Because apparently, they're like the only ones that know the secret. Mm-hmm. And so, the secret.
Not secret again.
Right. But anyway, so now knowing that they're playing the long game.
Yeah.
Whoo, boy, I wonder how nothing could possibly go wrong, right?
Yep. As we cut to episode 8, Satisfaction. We open on Star City Hospital.
Yep. And as we're there, Oliver and the clone of Roy Harper are sitting there, and
they're giving
real Roy's like
original Roy
whoa.
rundown.
It's like, hold on a second. So it's like when I was on ice, when Roy found me, first off, there was another Roy. We got sidekicks now. Sidekicks have their own team. Yeah. Aliens invaded Earth, and Ollie grew that stupid goatee. And of course he's like, and of course Red Arrow is like, we don't like the term sidekicks. And Ollie's like, you don't like the goatee? And of course Speedy, in this case, is just like, you're missing the point here. Look, you guys have been tap dancing around the truth for a long time.
Yeah, he wants an explanation for why there was a clone and how he lost his arm.
Yep, and then of course they were going to tell him when he was stronger, but now the time has come, or according to Speedy, the time's already passed.
Yeah, and he says the last thing he remembers is Oliver and him sneaking into a LexCorp shell company and taking out some goons before one took him out.
Yeah, and he passed out, and that's all he remembered until he woke back up.
And they tell him that was 8 years ago.
Dun, dun, dun. And of course, he's like, wait, what? 8 years? And apparently, during that time, Green Arrow was force-fed information to, that Roy was, you could find him.
Yep.
And
also, before that, they finally state the reason of his arm. They addressed that his arm was likely taken for cloning material.
Oh, yeah, as a really big, cloning resource.
Yeah, and Roy is, of course, visibly upset, understandably upset that this clone's been living a life while he's been taken in a coma.
Oh, but what he's most upset about is
Oliver gave up.
Yep, that Oliver gave up. In fact, even Roy, Clone Roy, was like, dude, I get if you're you don't want to see me or anything, and real Roy is just like, I can't really be mad at you. After all, you didn't ask to be a clone, and you also found me, and he just goes off on Green Arrow.
Yeah, and he tells Oliver to leave, and he asks the Clone Roy for some alone time.
Yeah, he's just like, we're talking like Green Arrow's just like, get! And now all of a sudden with Roy, he's just like, look, I need to process this.
Yep. Oliver hangs in a church feeling bad, and the Clone Roy comes
the curse of being Green Arrow's sidekick.
Uh-huh.
But of course, that's when we actually get a tender moment, because Red Arrow's just like, look, I know Artemis never felt that way, but I don't show it that often, but I don't feel that way either. And at least right now, I know he's upset, but that real Roy Harper does not feel that way either, truly. So go back in there and talk to that boy. And then all of a sudden, Ollie's like, listen, and the real Roy Harper is out of his bed and gone.
He's disappeared and left, and that is when we get the intro.
Title card!
Next is Mount Justice. We see Mal saying that Aquaman is searching the seas for Ladon. Dick has disappeared, and half the rest of the people are at the Memorial Grotto.
Yep, at the Memorial Grotto. AKA in the basement, there's like a whole bunch of holograms.
Yeah, we see Ted Cord. We see, who's a Blue Beetle. We see Tula, who was apparently they called her Aqua Girl at some point.
Yeah, they apparently called her Aqua Girl, but
and a Robin.
Yeah, one of the Robins.
That was shocking to me. And
I wondered.
I literally wrote in parentheses Jason Todd. But
and
also that's crazy that Jason Todd actually happened at some point between Tim and he's either the first or he's either before or after Dick in most comics. It depends on the series, but the fact that he's already passed is crazy.
Right, and
then
Tim's
already there.
As we're actually in the Grotto, we actually see Tim Drake, Garfield, Jaime, and Bart.
Yep.
Are down there, and Bart
is very chill. He's just like, what's going on? Oh, whatever.
Yeah, hey, this is when also, first off, he stole Jaime's chicken fried. What are they? Chicken Wheezies.
Yeah, chicken Wheezies.
But he also realizes that he's like, hey, shouldn't we have these guys have monuments outside
big
and
giant thing for them,
and even Jaime's like, I asked the same thing. I mean, they say it's they don't want the publicity.
Yeah, they don't need or want a shrine to the fallen. They want people to think that they're that's bad.
But Jaime thinks that it's actually because they don't want anyone to know about their mortality, because brings up Ted Cord.
Yeah, he laments that he never got to meet everyone else has their leaders and the proteges of people that he can talk to, but he is left without a person to talk to, because he only knows he made this beetle and now I'm stuck with it. It's weird.
Yep. And then of course, as all of that, Bart's like, "Hey, Jaime, come on, let's chill. I'll buy you another bag of chicken Wheezies, and we can just hang." And then ask for money. But then back in Gotham
Cemetery.
City, yep, Gotham Cemetery.
Wally and Artemis's mother are planting flowers on her grave.
So other than her title when she was a villain, does she actually have a name?
Yeah, they gave her a name before. I forgot what it was, but they told her. She was the Huntress.
That's right, she was Huntress. And of course, the mom is like, very thankful that Wally's there, because now that Wally's there, he's been the only way that she could ever survive, because being all broken and sad and all that stuff. And then
we zoom out to see Cheshire and Sportsmaster watching, which I was very oh, that's great that they actually showed up.
And of course Jade has the little one in tow, as always. And of course, she's like, look, I didn't hate her. She is my sister after all.
No, she's really upset because she just wants vengeance on Aqualad.
And that's what she said. She's like, I want vengeance on Aqualad. And
of course, Mantis is like, well, I want the father. I want
the dad because this is a matter of respect. Yeah. Because if people find out that someone would easily kill one of my kids, I'd be a laughing stock. I'm like, dude, shut up.
He's the saving face. He's just upset that his daughter's dead, I'm sure.
Oh, right. I mean, that's his way of doing it.
Yep. We see Roy running around in a hospital gown. And finds an old teleporter, or not? I thought it was a teleporter.
No,
it's actually just the Arrow tool lab.
The Arrow lab or the Arrow lair.
Yeah.
Wait. So if it's a lair for the arrows, wouldn't that be just called the Quiver?
No, really, I think it's called that in the CW shows.
Wait, is it actually?
Yeah, it's actually called. They're referred to that.
No, my joke is ruined by reality.
Unironically, they had the same sense of humor as you do. Of course,
him being the actual Roy, the computer recognizes him. And of course, as he's going through all of the different...
Oh, no, he doesn't recognize him. He has to say Red Arrow. He has to do an eye scan, and it says, Red Arrow. And he's like, original. He's like,
I know. That's what I'm saying. He did the eye scan, and it recognized...
Yeah, but it says Red Arrow, and he's upset about the name.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying it recognized, and he didn't have to go through any, security loops or anything. It just recognized him, which is bad, because as he's going through all of the stuff, and also mentions that... Green Arrow kept Speedy's old outfit.
Yeah, he talks more trash on Ollie just because he's so upset about it.
But then we actually see red and green arrows appear.
Yep,
and of course
green arrows appear.
Yes, the red and green arrows.
Yeah, they just build the wall. They step right into it.
And then of course they're like, Ollie's like, hey, at least I have this. This was the only good thing that ever came out of this. So Roy, Clone Roy, gets his eye scan, and it's like, recognized, Red Arrow.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have an issue here.
We have an issue here.
We have an issue. Well, pretty much it's like, malfunction. Red Arrow's already in, and of course, Ollie overrides it.
Yeah, then the base just as it is exploding, as original Roy jumps through a port.
He's like, hey, sorry, but got a jet. I have a date with Destiny. Yeah. Explodes the boom tube. And part of the room as well.
It's just teleporting to Metropolis before it blows. Because they know where he's going
to Metropolis.
They know he's going after Luthor, and they say Luthor is going to destroy him.
Yeah, he's like, he's going to try to kill Luthor. And that sucks because Luthor's going to kill him.
Yep.
But meanwhile, at the LexCorp office...
Yeah, Lex did some paperwork for alien invasion.
And of course, he's like... Who would have thought that starting an invasion would have so much paperwork?
And he's like literally looking at it, he's like, oh look, it looks like Roy escaped out of prison or out of the hospital. Anyway, he keeps going about his business.
Oh yeah, and then of course we actually see Roy line up a shot with an RPG.
Yeah, with one-armed rocket launcher.
He's commenting how it's easy for a one-armed man to actually use a high-tech rocket launcher.
Yeah, then to put on pants.
Yeah, then to put on pants. And then he, actually shoots, explodes, and Lex might be dead. We'll find out.
So sure. I was more shocked about how Lex did not have missile-proof windows because he's like wouldn't worry about Superman just like busting the thing open. You should have like super powerful windows that would be resistant to a missile because Superman.
Oh yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean,
I was surprised when it actually worked. I thought it was not gonna work at all. But this is when we popped to Wendy from school.
Yep, in Ivytown.
Yep, Ivytown, where they went to. This is where they went to school. It's a college.
Yeah, it's a college.
Yeah,
I would say because Wendy's like over with goes to Connor, who's sitting alone and brooding, and she's like, "Happy birthday!"
Yeah.
How old are you? I'm 6.
She's like, "What?"
I mean
22.
22.
Yeah, 22.
Well, no matter what, you look the same except for the shirt.
Yeah, he looks exactly like, oh, you're still wearing that Superman shirt? He's like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. And, like, they have a nice little scene about, like, oh, you're still dating Megan? He's like, no, we broke up, and it's she starts kind of vaguely flirting with him. It's a very cute scene.
It is kind of cute, and honestly, I would slightly ship them.
Yeah, they're cute together. She keeps bringing up how much he and McGann loved each other, and it's weird that they're not together anymore.
And of course, Connor's like, I hated those parties, and she's like, dude, come on. Yeah. I know you love those parties.
Yeah, it's a very cute scene where they get a little bit flirty, but then like it cuts to Zatanna and McGann in Dakota City.
Yep, in Dakota City, and we get McGann's like, "Oh no, I didn't throw a party," and Zatanna's like, "That's not your problem anymore." And then, of course, they bring up Artemis.
Oh, they bring up the birthday. Of Connor's birthday, you mean?
Yeah, because that's McGann's like, I didn't throw him a surprise party.
Yeah.
And, of course, Zatanna's like, not your issue?
Yeah.
Besides, we have to go to this party over here, and it's a
bridal shower for Rocket.
Yep, for good old Rocket.
Who she's marrying is not clear.
Yeah, actually, in this entire episode, I don't think they ever say who at all.
That's pretty interesting option. But yeah,
she's getting married,
and they have a gift, and she's like, "Oh, is that from you?" Like, actually, it's from Artemis, and they all get sad. And
they all get sad, and of course, they have a toast to absent friends.
Yep.
And then to the bride, you're getting married.
Yeah.
Oh my! And then the best part of this episode, 10 out of 10 happens.
Yeah.
You see above the building where you see all the party. Well, first off, across the street is a bank where they're actually taking out money from an armored truck to actually put in the bank. And from across the way, right above on the skyscraper where all of the girls are having their party, you see best villain 10 out of 10, Captain Cold.
He's plotting a bank robbery.
Of course he is. He's planning a heist.
Yep, and then we see Lex is safe.
Yep, underneath his apparently rocket-proof desk.
Yeah, a custom desk, he said.
Yep. He's like, hey, now, isn't it nice, Mercy, to have a custom desk?
Yeah, nice expensive one.
And of course, Mercy wants to get him out of there, but he's like, now, hold on.
Whoa.
I have to get a thing. Literally opens up the portrait of himself, opens up the safe that's behind it, and gets a briefcase out.
Yep, and also, this is when we get a nice little shout-out to a character I only recently realized was an actual notable character in Supergirl. Otis Graves, the person on the phone. The security guard, when he says, "Oh, it's fine, Otis," that is Mercy Graves' brother.
I don't know who any of the Graves are.
Mercy Graves?
Mercy Graves is...
the friggin' Mercy.
Oh,
that's her last
her
name.
last name's Graves?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. No, like, seriously, I did not know that.
I didn't know. Yeah, Mercy Graves, and then Otis Graves is her brother. He's a pretty much a doofus character in most things. But
you mean kind of like Mercy, except for in this universe where she actually can have some...
I'd say Mercy's pretty smart most of the time.
But no, she's intelligent. She's not like a supervillain or anything.
No, only in
this universe.
Yeah, no, Otis is just her dumb, doofy brother who works for
earlier in this.
Yeah, that was a funny look. Oh, hey, Otis is actually brought up in here too before Supergirl. That's cool.
Yep.
He says, Lex, like, oh no, it's just an assassin trying to kill me.
It is an assassin that's trying to kill me. By the way, you might want to kill the assassin.
Yep. Roy finds them in the parking lot, but Mercy, of course, begins to kick his butt.
Yeah, profusely. And now
back to the show.
We get back to the best villain 10 out of 10. Where he actually, Captain Cold, decides to encase everything in ice.
Yeah, he makes his move on the bank, and
then he's like,
everybody, like the entire street sidewalk. Yeah, the entire sidewalk.
I'm gonna see ice, yeah.
It's great.
And then of course, as that's all happening, you hear Zatanna cast a spell, and I don't know how they did it in the ice, but they all appear in their outfits.
I'm about to say, they all appear in costume. How the hell how's that possible?
Well, if we had the backward spell, it could have been like, melt the ice, also a costume, or something like that. And of course, I don't know why. Has Captain Cold always had like an Austrian accent?
Did he have? He had weird.
Yeah, because he's like, accent. I'm totally doomed, aren't I?
Not
I'm
usually.
like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, not typically. He's usually so normal.
Yeah, and of course, Captain Cold is just like, I'm totally doomed, aren't I? Yeah. And they're just like, yep.
And then just beat him up. Cut to
start beating him up. Cut to the large battle that ensues. Where
Mercy keeps firing. Yeah, Mercy keeps firing all kinds of rockets and missiles at Roy, and he's just jumping all around the place.
Like, yep. And then of course, getting hit and all that stuff. And that's right.
Lex mentions Roy is quite an impressive arsenal, and
well, yeah, and then of course, actually before all that, he told his secretary to disarm. He's like, my secretary isn't this; she is a weapon. I'm just like,
and he says like, you have quite the arsenal. I don't mean of your weapons; I mean of your mind. You're the arsenal of the wits. Is what somebody goes in a whole speech about, like intelligence.
Yeah, how Lex pretty much runs.
Yeah, just setting up his pretty much setting up his superhero name.
But then
arsenal.
we get to see probably one of the coolest things ever in this series, in my opinion. We see Roy like wrap a rope or what looks like some kind of rope or cord around Mercy's arm and hits a detonator and it explodes.
Oh yeah, those.
Then he puts it around Lex's arm and he's like, "Hey, that's detonator cord." I'm like, dude, that's actually kind of cool.
It was pretty interesting. I've never seen that device before in any other stuff. It was really cool.
You haven't? Like, this is the first time?
Yeah, first time I've ever heard about it.
And then, of course, Lex is like, no, hold on. Guys, because they have got, like...
he's already surrounded
by like, other guys. Can we kill him? No. Hold on. You want your revenge? Fine. Do it. And, of course, Roy's like, I'm not playing games. I'm super serious. He's like, okay, answer me this, kid. Do you want to actually, take revenge on me?
Yep.
Or do you want, pushes the briefcase with his foot over, satisfaction?
Yeah, name of the episode.
And then, of course, after all this happened, as all this is happening, we go to the bottom of this entire place where we see Ollie and Roy and other Roy appear. And they're like, oh no, we're too late. And Ollie's like, dude, please tell me he didn't. In which case, you actually, like, is there just smoke or is there an explosion?
You see smoke and him slowly walking out of the building.
He's like, oh, Roy, like, are you alright?
And you see he like shows them his crazy high-tech arm inside of the briefcase.
A high-tech arm that is like more advanced than Mercy's arm. Mm-hmm. And of course he's like, hey, by the way, I didn't kill Lex. So he's like, so what do you have right there? I have satisfaction. So, Speedy, what do you think about, you know what? I don't like Speedy. I think I'm going to go with Arsenal.
A very cool take on Roy for his character.
And thus Arsenal in this universe is born, and that's honestly where the episode ends.
Yeah.
It just ends with him talking about how he's going to be Arsenal.
Yeah, it's a very weird and sudden ending.
Answer me something.
Yep.
Because now the foot is on the other shoe this time. So,
what?
So, with your vast knowledge of DC characters and stuff, is this an original character for Young Justice, or Roy becoming Arsenal is a thing?
Roy becoming Arsenal is the main thing that he goes into. Yeah.
He's
sometimes Red Arrow, but
that's the main. That's
his main path. Because like typically he goes through a lot of bad stuff, whether it be like drug addiction or some kind of crazy STD or something. In the 90s, he always goes through crazy. Yeah, he always goes through crazy character trauma, and like eventually just like ditches him and becomes Arsenal. In the New 52 run, he was with Jason Todd and as Red Hood and Starfire, and they had a comic where they're just like called The Outlaws, I think it was. Oh. And yeah, it was like Jason Todd, Arsenal, and Starfire, and they're just like doing all kinds of crazy bad stuff.
Wait, Starfire was an outlaw?
Yeah. It's really I don't know if those called outlaws, but like they just were going around being like, you know, hardcore, edgy guns and being crazy.
See, now when it comes to Starfire, I the only thing I have is the original Teen Titans, where she's actually like a really nice person.
Yeah,
I don't know her being edgy.
No, she's pretty nice still. But she's just like pretty much close to that personality all the time. But she's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm cool hanging out with you two weirdos, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're like going around shooting guns, and she's still like halfway to a Kryptonian in like strength and everything, but still like they're just going around with guns being edgy. It's a pretty good comic. But like, they're fine. I like Arsenal. He's pretty cool. I like the name Arsenal much more than Red Arrow, which is...
Honestly, I kind of do too. I mean, obviously we'll get later on when we actually see Arsenal in action.
Right.
But, yeah, dude, I kind of like Arsenal a lot better than Red Arrow, too.
Oh, yeah. Of course, we had all that like annoying clone winding with Clone Roy, too.
And, of course, with Red Arrow, all I have for him right now, because he's still trying to develop, is past when he was still the only Roy, and where he was like, I don't want to be part of you.
Yeah, it was very whiny with his clothes and stuff and all that. But, like, Arsenal's cool. He'll be cool in the future.
Yep, and then we'll slide on into episode 9, Darkest. Where we actually start off in the Gulf of Mexico.
Lagan is in jail talking more crap on Calderon about what he's done and all this stuff.
And then, of course, as like he's like, I'm going to punch the crap out of you and blah, blah, blah. Pretty much sedates him. Yeah,
of course, original OG Black Manta wants the prisoner taken, but Cal says, oh, not yet. We could, use him. And then he says he doesn't want him taken to the light, or to the partners, by Cal. And then they trank Lagan, and Black Manta says Cal needs to prove his loyalty to others to enter the light.
Because he's like, hey, look, if it were up to me, you'd already be in.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, other people want you to do one more test.
Yeah, this episode is very good. And this will hit the intro.
Yep, hit intro. And then
we see Cal's ship, which has Icicle Jr. and
the
Terror Twins.
Tommy and Tuppence.
Yep.
I still think that is a dumb name.
Tuppence? It's a word.
Oh, no. I know it's a word, but it's a dumb name.
It's a very
anyway.
They're weird rednecks.
Right.
Junior
and we see
still... Yeah, we don't see the new person yet, though. But we see Junior is still super into Tuppence, and I'm like, hell yeah, bro.
Of course, Tuppence...
You got great taste, bro.
Hey, trust me, I know he does. But unfortunately, he's a creep.
Yeah, and of course, Tommy is looking really freaking swole, dude. Looking really brolic, man. Dude. He's yoked, dude.
Yeah, like, dude, he even looks at his sister and goes, do you lift?
Yeah,
that's how swole this guy
yoked,
is.
Bro.
And then, of course, they're talking about, how in the world a brand new person could come in and be, right hand to pretty much like the prince or whatever.
They also talking about how they don't trust Black Man or don't trust Cal because of all the business with the.
Yep, that's the other thing they mentioned.
And they say they don't even know who Tigress is. So what? And then like,
oh by the way, that other person is actually introduced as Tigress.
Yeah, this black-haired girl named Tigress, and she's just like sort of chilling with them. She has a weird. Does she have a mask on now?
Yeah, she has the mask on.
Okay, yeah.
And of course, it's just like. Tuppence and Tommy are just like, making snide remarks.
Yeah.
And of course, Huntress is like, okay, so answer me this. Which one of you wants to take up these grievances with Black Manta? The father of Cal over here, who by the way, handpicked me, by the way, and they all just shut up.
Yep, they all be quiet and they go on their trip. Back in El Paso, Impulse pops up at Jaime's house in costume.
Yep,
and says, yo, let's hang.
And he's like,
what are you doing?
Dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
My name is Jaime. I don't know you.
Yeah, we're just afraid from the accents, man.
Sorry.
Get your butt canceled.
Sorry, that is not a normal thing I do, viewers.
I got too excited. Ivy Town.
Anyway, so they do leave.
He says, I don't believe this whole secret identities things. I don't get it. Oh, let's just hang out. And it's like, okay, no, that's a stupid thing.
But but then we actually get to Ivy Town where
Cal and Karen, aka Bumblebee.
Yeah,
I never referred to it as Karen.
It wasn't Cal.
It was Mal.
Yeah, Mal. I think he said Cal. I'm like, no. Oh yeah, where Mal runs into Bumblebee, or Karen as she's called.
Yeah, they haven't had any alone time. He wants to join her in the lab, and he's like, are you sure? It's gonna be boring.
It's gonna be boring for a lot of hours. He's like, I got time.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then of course they go in, and it's who's the doctor that she goes to?
It's Ray Palmer.
Ray Palmer. That's what Dr. Palmer. That's what it is.
Yep.
And of course, so she accepts and all that. So now we go back down to like a pod with Lagan and two of the Manta troopers.
And the aliens see that he is. They're talking and they're saying he's not even a metahuman. He's an Atlantean. And they're saying, well, he's just an Atlantean buffed by magic. And they say, well, the Atlanteans
did evolve from humans.
Yeah, evolved from humans, so metagene has to be involved.
And by the way, this is in weird clicks and whatever their alien language is with
crazy
subtitles.
clicks and whistles and
so
weirdness.
Yeah, it's just like so yeah, we could technically use him, and so of course after all that we actually go right back to El Paso where Blue Beetle.
Also while they were talking about that, they also mentioned they say meat, which also is another thing that Impulse was saying in his time. Meat.
Yep, that's another term to remember.
Lagan pretends to be asleep.
And Lagan just like goes back to sleep, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. But then now we go back to El Paso.
Yeah, Beetle and Impulse.
Beetle and Impulse are just doing their thing where Blue Beetle's like, yeah, look what I can do. Sonic Blast. And Impulse is like, oh yeah, look what I can. Why do you destroy when you can create? And he just like literally runs around and nothing happens.
Yep.
And Blue's like, what's going on? And Bart's just like, yeah, less attitude, more altitude. And when Blue Beetle flies up, it's literally made in stones, an exact picture replica of Impulse by Impulse.
Yeah, doing the same gesture he's doing in real life. Yeah, check it out.
Ta-da! And as that's happening, the Scarab is like, oh no, we must destroy. It's like, dude, chill. But as that's happening, they get attacked by the Terror Twins.
By the Terror Twins kicking butt. Blue has the Impulse. Blue and Impulse get the upper hand on them.
No, they don't, because
they get taken advantage of by Icicle Jr. and he freezes.
Yeah. They get taken advantage of, and then they get frozen. And then, of course, it's like, hey, how'd you guys find us? They look up and they see Cal and this ninja girl, as they call her. Like, oh, that makes sense. And, of course, they're trying to fight the Terror Twins.
Yeah, the Tuppences.
Blue Beetle is fighting Tuppence and fails, actually.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to use his gun, apparently.
The deadly one,
Even Impulse goes over to Tommy. It is like, punch! Ow, my hand! What are you made of? What is he made of?
Snips and snails and puppy dog tails.
Yeah, he is.
Like, Tommy, like, dude, you're great.
Weird redneck, but I like you. And of course, as don't they get bound somehow?
Yeah, they end up getting tied up again. I think.
Yep, they get tied up, and then no, it was Impulse that got tied up.
Yeah.
Because after Huntress uses something to tie him up, he actually is able to shake free, and then she tries it again and it fails.
Yeah, and they also find out that they had a tracker, which I think does Blue take it?
No, what happens is when Impulse is like, oh, I know you, goes up to Cal, who has the thing. And he's just, like, asking him questions, being, like, super fast and super witty, kind of like any speedster would. Uh-huh. And during all that time, he actually takes the thing and goes, hey, I got it, let's get it. And, of course, Blue Beetle's like, yep, you're right. Oh, no. In this one, the Scarab's just like, we must tactically use a giant beam. He's like, or, since they outnumber us, we can just retreat now. Yeah. And they do. They both retreat.
And like, while they're leaving, Cal's like, oh, it's all part of the plan.
And, of course, Tommy's just like, you dunderhead, what's going on here? Yeah. I get excited. He's like, you idiot. Why'd you do it? You let him get away.
Yep.
Cut to Mount Justice.
We see that they come to the base, and Nightwing's like, what are you guys doing here? And Impulse is like, I got a souvenir, it's a tracker. But
Hey. Souvenirs are Beast Boy's thing?
Yeah, he says it's BB's thing, and he says, wait, I thought that was the Flash thing. I thought that was Kid Flash's thing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. After that one, of course, Nightwing's like, to the point, please.
Yeah, and then I found this tracker, but Cal attacked us, and he said, so you brought the tracker here to the base.
You brought alien technology that you don't have any idea to our main base. Rookie mistake.
Yeah, and Cal, of course, has a second tracker that's using the first one as a Trojan horse, and he takes out all of Mount Justice's security.
Yep. And then, of course, they can just go in, and that's it.
Yeah, the ship and Cal swim in, and they, the Genosphere...
Sphere, yep.
Yeah, lets Cal in. He's just like, oh, hey, it's Cal, and it like, goes away, and it's like, oh, it wouldn't still recognize him as a good guy.
Nah.
Yeah, it's just Cal. What are you talking about? Lagan, back to Lagan.
Back to Lagan. We actually see him in like another room with like a bunch of people. Like you actually see like Shimmer, you see Ty, the first kid.
Long Shadow, yeah.
Yeah, Long Shadow, and a whole bunch of other ones are just like in some kind of storage room.
We also see a female alien with the face covering. It's like, oh, who is this weird bug? What is she? She's pinkish, I think we see her finally.
Pinkish, reddish,
you can't tell, like it's all from the POV of him inside the thing. We never see
Right, yeah. So like the color distortion is weird.
Yeah, but like while he's like, we see all the other kids that he's in there with, we see Mal is back in the lab with B and incredibly bored.
Yeah, incredibly bored. He's like, hey, maybe after this we can go bowling. She's like, yeah, no, it doesn't exist. And, he keeps bringing up, like, back in high school.
Oh, we used to go to this place and this place. And she's like, yeah, no, that's gone. That's done. We don't do that anymore.
Yep, and, he's like, and then as all that's happening, Palmer comes in and he's like, hey, so, we have this test that we can do. And she's
like, hey, Mal, what's going on? He's really nice to him. And he's like, okay, we have this experiment. Like, oh, great, it'll be a couple of hours. And then he's like, okay, F this.
and then Mal just is like, displeased and leaves.
Yeah, Mal's like, F this mess, and leaves.
And then, of course, we go back to Mount Justice where Wolf
is sneaking into the vents, and we see Wolf.
Yeah, and Wolf is just asleep on the lounge, on like the couch in the lounge, and he gets up and like looks around like, meh.
Yeah, and then they collar him.
Yeah, and they get an inhibitor collar on him.
Yeah, we see Beast Boy watching his mom's old show. And,
hello, Megan.
And he opens the door to see Tuppence, and she just knocks his ass out.
Just knocks him out and puts an inhibitor collar on him, too. Now, when he gets the collar on, does he actually revert back to normal?
He goes to, I think, his most humanoid-looking form, I think.
Yeah, not like the half-monkey-looking thing that he's usually.
Yeah, not his normal monkey form.
Yeah, and then after that, Superboy is down in the grotto.
Mourning Artemis still.
Yep, and then he uses super hearing and notices it's one of the intruders.
Yep, Tommy and Icicle Jr. take him down.
And of course, Tommy's like, hey, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling some major hatred toward this guy. And of course, Icicle Jr. is like, I'm on board.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. And then like they beat him up, but then Cal stops him. He's like, no. He's standing in front of Tula's thing.
Yep.
More statue thing, and just like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to take them out of here. We have plans for them.
And of course, and then, and they get inhibitor collared and everything. Well, Nightwing is in the mission room still with Beetle and Impulse.
Yeah.
And then analyzing, that tracking device. When an alarm goes off, and, he's just like, wow, now I'm the rookie making the mistake.
Yeah. Icicle and Tommy try to take Blue and Impulse, but Impulse knocks Junior out.
Yeah, he knocks Junior the fuck out.
Yeah, but he's then collared and knocked out by Tommy.
Yep, and then they're all...
After we get the Sips and Sales Puppy Dog Tales line, I think.
Maybe that was... I thought that was the first time he fought. But anyway, either way, they all get inhibitor collars, in which Nightwing is like, hey, guess what? To Tigress, by the way. Hey, guess what? This doesn't work on me because I don't have superpowers. And then he gets shocked.
Yeah, and then shocks him and knocks him out anyway. And like, okay, well, that's handled.
Yep.
The Scarab is still telling Jaime to kill everyone.
Kill.
But Jaime says no, and Cal has a dead man switch that'll blow the whole place if he gets knocked out.
Oh, yeah, because he leaves another one of those bombs, and he's like, hey, see this dead man switch? I let it go, this bomb explodes. So you guys should probably not do anything for a while. Oh, and by the way, it's got a 5-mile radius, so don't chase us.
Yep, so they take the metahumans and leave Connor and Dick Grayson behind, knocked out.
Yep, and Blue. What about Blue?
Did they take Blue? Or did
No, they don't take Blue, because this is when Blue actually goes and follows. Wait, no, he's knocked out. That's right, because they take they take Impulse and Blue.
Yeah.
And they're both knocked out. Blue wakes up, and he sees what's going on, and he breaks free. Mm-hmm. And that's when the Scarab's like, hey, that one Cal, he's bluffing. So let me take full control, and that you can free everyone and destroy them. And he does.
Yeah,
he actually lets the Scarab take over.
The Scarab takes out Tigress, Icicle Jr., and Calderon.
And now here's the big thing right here.
Yeah.
When Cal falls down, his thumb goes off of the button, yep. And Jaime's like, "No!" Looks, the mountain is not exploding.
Yep, it's perfectly fine.
So
he's like, hey, it's a dud.
Oh, it was. No, well, actually, more specifically, he's like, "Hey, he was bluffing. Let's do this."
Yep.
And then, of course, that's
this
right.
is when Cal uses his Atlantean magic to shock the Blue Beetle suit, and Tigress darts him.
Yeah, just darts him. And one of my favorite lines in this, it's a good thing he's still, the Beetle is still affected by magic and sedatives.
Yeah, that was really funny.
I'm like, oh. And so they all go back into, the ship. And, of course,
Tommy and Junior say Cal is soft for not killing them.
Oh, what a softie.
Yeah.
He's got a soft spot for the friends. And all of a sudden, Cal looks at Huntress and goes,
I'm about to say before that, he looks at Tigress, and from his POV, we see she's Artemis.
Not yet.
No, yeah.
No, because he says, do it, she takes off her mask, and we see his point of view, which is Artemis, and she's like, you sure?
Yeah.
And all he says is just do it.
And they blow Mount Justice up.
And by the way, viewers, not just, there's a bomb that went out. No, all of Mount Justice is gone.
Yeah,
we even go back to Happy Harbor, and Mal is driving up, and he's like, Mal the Watchtower, Mount Justice is gone. I mean, there was a big explosion. And then he actually finds out in the water, he sees the super cycle, quote unquote, also known as Sphere, as well as
the Superboy also.
Yeah, well, and sees Connor and Nightwing on it.
Yep.
And as Mel's going out to swim, was it Nightwing or was it Connor that fell off so that Mel had to get him back up?
I think it was Nightwing who fell off.
Yeah, and then of course he's like, Connor, wake up! Splashes him with water. I thought there was another one because they both carry someone.
Someone's carrying Wolf too.
Wolf, that's right. Yeah. Connor's carrying Wolf and Nightwing's being carried by Mal. And, this new Genosphere sinks to the bottom, turns into orb form. And he's like, she's going to be all right. And Connor's like, yeah, she just needs some time to heal.
Yep.
And then, of course, they swim on back to shore.
And we cut to the Hall of Justice where Nightwing is talking to Wally.
Yeah, Wally arrives and he's just like, dude.
Yeah.
What
happened with the mission, dude?
The crap, dude. What is going on? And, of course, as they were playing up the whole like Calder and Nightwing, we're enemies. Somehow in their brawl, Calder slipped a USB drive with
when he punched him in the stomach. We saw like he gave Dick a really strong punch in the stomach when he was taking all the metahumans away. Yep. And Dick explains the plan to Wally. They're tracking Lagan to find the aliens, and he gave Dick the intel through that gut punch. Wally is still angry at all the insane risks that they are taking.
Oh yeah, rightfully so. But of course, everything is going to be explained in the flash drive.
Yeah, but Dick refuses to stop going forward with the plan.
And then we go...
Wally also thinks that Cal might be a triple agent.
He makes some very good points. He's like, look, you're talking about a guy who lost his girlfriend and also found out that his dad was a really bad enemy. All in practically the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So, what? You think he can't just be a triple agent and actually be against us? And then we cut to the Atlantic Ocean, where we see the Black Manta is just like, my son, come with me.
Yeah,
and then
welcome to the light.
Yep, they go in and Black Manta introduces everyone to his son, and even Vandal is just like, oh yeah. We're okay with family. No, it was Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah,
like we're good with family ties. Welcome to the light.
And it's time for him to meet the partners.
And that is where we end.
Yep. Oof, I'm a goof. That was a crazy good episode. I love seeing the Terra Twins back again.
Oh, dude. As much crap as I gave them for the first time, I like seeing them in their element.
Yeah, actually see them being competent and in a group and taking out people really easily. I love how they took out the entire team.
And not being people who are, kind of, not themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And
they actually managed...
They make me laugh so much because really I like the fact that they're Southerners with the good morals and stuff like that sort of.
But they're pretty bad dudes, but
they are.
They're really. I like how silly and ridiculous that they are, but also I love that his group took down the entire Young Justice Squad really easily. They infiltrated and took it. It was a really cool actual villain group versus group that won successfully, and it was really cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Speaking of good villains and stuff.
Wrapping this up with the last episode 10, Before the Dawn.
Wait. The last episode was called Darkest, and now we're going Before the Dawn?
Yeah, and Darkest was a weird word for a title, if you ask me.
Well, now, I can understand why. We'll get to that after
I understand why, but I'm saying the word, just Darkest, is a weird
Darkest.
word.
But anyway...
starts on Jaime skateboarding by Cord Industries late one night heading home. And then suddenly a huge explosion happens and his shirt catches on fire really weirdly.
Yeah, for some reason.
He pulls it off, and as he's doing that, the scarab comes flying out and it jumps on his back and just latches into him.
Because that's how it works. And we find out he wakes up because it was like a flashback nightmare?
Yeah, it's a flashback memory, I guess. Jaime is still in the metatubes over the Pacific Ocean.
Yep.
And the Beetle blames Jaime for getting them taken. He says, "You fool."
Yeah, you fool. And don't we also see the two aliens?
Also, we found out. Sorry, we're gonna find out that it's been 8 months since he got the Beetle attached to him.
Yep. At that point, it's been 8 months. And also, we hear some conversation from those two aliens.
Yep, there's a pinkish, reddish female one who is a scientist.
And a greenish kind of one.
A greenish aqua male who is the ambassador.
Yep, and of course, there's some kind of weird clicks and stuff. But the Scarab's like, hey, I'm translating for you.
Yep.
Finally, we get to hear them speak in English. And then, of course, the scientist one, the lady, is just like, hey... we need to go through the memory files from the last 8 months since it fused with this meat.
Yep.
And of course, the companion's just like, why don't we just reboot the Scarab?
Yeah. Well, we have to kill the guy.
And
it's always fresh meat.
And as they're talking, we see a larger alien? Question mark.
Yeah, larger alien, but it's actually I already refer to him as Black Beetle.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say they don't necessarily.
The reveal his face looks exactly like Blue Beetle. But
he's Black Beetle. He literally looks like Blue Beetle, only he's really buff, has that amazing deep voice, and he's like Beetle. And his color coding is black.
Yeah, Kevin Graveau. He is a comic writer, and he's of course, huge dude. He's also an actor. He was in a lot of the Underworld movies. But mainly, he's a comic writer. He's an actor. He's done a ton of stuff.
Who in the Underworld movies?
He was the big black werewolf in a couple of them. Yeah,
I
you recognize his crazy. If you saw the movies again, you recognize his insane voice.
Definitely.
He says that the scientists you just playing with the meat, and she's like, well, that's true. Yeah.
and doesn't he also tell him? Yeah, he's like, you should reboot it, even if it does kill the host.
Yeah, and this is when we finally see that the aliens are called the Reach.
The Reach. And this is when we get the title card?
Yep, this is what... Or I don't know, I don't want the title card thing in my notes.
But anyway, well, I think it is, because the next scene we get after the title card is the green one, the ambassador, I think he is giving Aqualad a tour of the Reach ship.
Yep.
And then, of course, he's just like... this is all about the Reach and what we're doing. And then they go into the lab, and he's like, and this is the scientist lady. And she's like, oh, you're the one who gave us the meat?
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
And that's how they say thank you. It's just the word gratitude.
We also definitely explain the plan, which is they're looking for the metagene, which is something that allows people to get crazy powers after horrific or deadly events.
Yep.
The scientist says that they are trying to unlock them in normal humans.
Yep, and then there's another room, like I think another lab or something.
They go to another lab and they show Beast Boy and Impulse being tortured, and they say, oh, these are where people who already have it, we're just trying to figure out how to copy their powers.
Right, there's a room, I forget what room it is, but Calder's like, what about this room? And they're like, yeah, it's not your concern.
Yeah, they don't let Cal back into the back lab where Beetle is.
Oh, that's what it was. It was, that's right, because he sees Impulse and the others getting zapped, and then he asks about Blue Beetle, and he's like, that is not your concern.
Yeah, he is now of the Reach.
Yep, and then he's just like, okay, fine. And then, of course, the ambassador's like, you can give us more test subjects, right?
In Star City, we see a bunch of kids in cages, and Tigress is, like, pod kidding them, just putting them in pods.
All right, into the pods, now!
Yeah.
And then, of course, as all that's happening, we get 3 of the kids are, well, Tim, Barbara, and inside Tim's pocket,
yep,
Bumblebee.
Karen Bumblebee.
That's her name now, Karen Bumblebee.
Yep. Manta's boys are loading the ship with all the people. Let's say them as... Oh, yeah, McGann, Wonder Girl, and Dick are following her. Are they in the Martian ship? The bioship?
Yeah, I think they're following in the bioship.
I think Dick says that Aquaman is giving them intel. He says Aquaman's giving them... Yeah, Aqualad is giving them intel to not give away Cal. Okay, yeah, they say, like, how did you guys find out about this shipment, and how did you guys find out about this place? Aquaman told us, don't worry about that.
Aquaman did, of course.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we go back to another weird flashback where Jaime and Ty are skateboarding.
Yeah.
And of course, they're having a good time and everything, but all of a sudden there's like this strange fog, and Jaime's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Ty actually answers, only it sounds like weird clicks and stuff.
Yeah. He awakes to hear Black Beetle telling the scientist to remove the scarab and kill Jaime in the process.
Yep. And as that's going on,
Tigress is at the shipping docks.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It is the shipping docks.
And Dix says it looks like there might be a bomb there, and Wonder Girl says it looks like the Beetle armor.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yep.
Which is the first time we actually acknowledge, like, oh, the Beetle armor actually looks like this crazy alien thing we've been seeing for a while now.
Yep. And then, of course, Nightwing's like, hey, Miss Martian.
Oh, the bomb, they see the base, too.
They're seeing the inside. And, now all of the, the 3 that are inside the pods are actually, now getting carted in to where all the other ones are.
Yep.
And, of course, I think it's at this moment where they're like, hey, should we wait any longer? And they're like, no, we should actually start doing this now, because if we do this, we're going to wait forever.
Yeah, McGann jumps out of the ship and gives herself gills, and then the pressure shrinks her, which is a very funny and weird scene. It's like, what the hell's happening to her? Barbara and Tim get in the pods, and McGann with McGann they eye the aliens. Also, Cal, they don't want to avoid Cal so they doesn't see them.
Yes, correct. They want to avoid Cal with everything. Only not everyone gets the memo for that.
No one knows except for Dick on this team.
I know. But anyway, yeah, so they try to avoid to not make a big scene.
Yeah, they counting. They find the pods for all of the kids except for Jaime.
Yeah, except for Jaime. And of course, they're leading all the kids to the shipping docks where, Wonder Girl is just like, come on, let's go, let's do this. And we also, Impulse is like, wait, where's Jaime? Sorry, gotta find him.
Yeah, he leaves. McGann rescues Wally rescues Impulse and Beast Boy, but he ditches. Connor takes out Tigress and Manta Boys, but the Bat Kids also help, and they free the rest of the people. He frees them. Yeah, he frees the Bat Kids.
They do, and also as they're doing more going to the shipping dock, I think. Isn't this also when Miss Martian
finally finds Cal, and she's like, you, and then she psychically attacks him.
Oh, she is infuriated.
Yeah.
She doesn't even, just like with all the other victims, she doesn't care. She pretty much puts Calder in a...
Well, we don't know yet. Because
in a mind lock.
She begins to psychically attack him.
And of course, Cal is just like, I can do this.
Well, before that, Connor tries to go back, but Black Beetle just knocks his ass out, and Wonder Girl officially gives him his name as Black Beetle at this point.
Yeah, because the first time it's ever mentioned, she's like, "Hey, you, Black Beetle, if you surrender now, we'll go easy on you." And Black Beetle's response is just, he's just like, "You, easy on me." Yeah, he gives this crazy evil laugh. Starts laughing, and I think Bumblebee said the best line ever. That is never a good sign.
Yeah. I just want to see Impulse like in slow-mo, just like going through all of the labs trying to find Jaime. He knocks out Scientist, and when he finds him, and he frees
Jaime from the weird torture-y things.
Yeah, and then when we go back to McGann, still doing her crazy second attack. We see it from her POV. We see a clip show of all the scenes and stuff, and the whole plan.
And she goes heavy on this, like
to
the point where she actually digs so deep, she figures out that Artemis is not dead, and that this is all a ploy that they and Nightwing and Wally are a part of, and she goes so deep that she literally knocks Calderon in a coma state, and Huntress goes over and
Tigress is her mother.
Sorry, Tigress goes over and goes to pick up Cal and just looks and.
McGann can see the actual true Tigress at this point. She says, "McGann, what did you do?"
Yeah, what have you done? And then, of course, to keep face.
She takes him and runs. While Beast Boy's about to attack, but then they ditch and leave.
Yep, and now McGann is in a stupor.
Yeah, back with Black Beetle, he is taking out all of the members very handily,
very easily, mind
except for one. There's one black kid with mini dreads who's just kind of sitting there confused, like, "What's going on? This is weird." No, we don't know who he is yet.
Okay, fine.
This very obviously seeming a character. It's Black Kid with mini dreads. And just like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's watching. Black Beetle continues to overpower everyone in really cool ways, knocking them out, stapling them into the walls. The kid with the dreads gets a gun and tries to shoot it.
and at one point, McGann and Garth get to the door, and Beast Boy's like, "Hey, why don't you just, snap out of it and..."
Not yet. They're still in the middle of the fight when the kid gets the gun, tries to stop them, but then Shimmer, who was with the bad guys but taken with them, just it's messed up that they just left her with them, but she's holding the wall and accidentally melts it, and it brushes water.
That's not yet though. Because
she doesn't do the wall. She just gets the kid with the gun.
Up and she's just like, "Oh, yeah."
To help Black Beetle, she starts messing with him.
She's like, "Hey, I like you," kind of thing, and he not with words, but she's like, "Hey, I'll help you," and Black Beetle's just like, "Good meat."
Yeah. Also, this time we see a flash forward. We see is it Impulse again in the future? We see.
It's a future where you see
Bart
Impulse,
working in ashes in the
working
future.
in ashes, and then you hear "Get back to work, meat," and you see who's saying it, it's Blue Beetle.
Yeah, weird buff,
super
big
buff,
chin.
and with a hell of a lot of weapons.
Yeah,
and
he's
stuff.
just huge and crazy looking. He says the reason he's come back is to stop Jaime.
Yeah, it's to stop Jaime for actually being that, and Jaime's like, "No, I'm me," and Impulse is like, "I know, but it's gonna happen eventually."
McGann reconnects with the group. She's still a little off and dazed. Her and Garth are stuck on the outside of the thing.
And she's still dazed, but after a while, Beast Boy's like, "Hey, use density shift maybe and get through the door."
Yeah.
McGann gets halfway through the door.
Oh, I would say before that, Dick and the kids on the other side managed to get to their base. Black Beetle is in the middle room fighting everyone who he can fight. And then, Megan, who's still like, what's going on? Real zonked out and tired and awkward. She half phases, and then Black Beetle changes the density, knocking her out.
Yeah, knocking her out while
he's
she's
like, "What did you
halfway
do?" And then we get the best line, I think, in the entire series so far.
Oh, yep, say it. Say it.
Where he's like, "Oh, don't be jealous. I can put you through the door, too. Halfway, the hard way."
I love it so much. And then, literally, just proceeds to keep
slam her for 5 minutes.
Almost, it feels like for 5 minutes, just on the door, just slam. I'm like, dude.
Yeah,
okay,
it was brutal.
I know, in season 1 we had some visceral looking skin rips kind of things. But this here,
this was rough. You're just slamming for 5 minutes. It's it cut into everyone else knocked out in the room and just feel bam, bam, bam. You can read in the background. It's oh my god, that's crazy.
And then of course the door opens.
Yep, Jaime, Impulse, and Garth show up.
Yep, Jaime comes in and he and Black Beetle just go to town.
Well, yeah, he said he gives the Beetle. The Beetle's like, "You can't take him. Give me full control." And just okay.
He's like, "You're right. Let's do this."
Yeah.
And now Black and Blue are getting black and blue.
Not really.
And as all this is happening, this is when Shimmer gets upset as he's holding the wall.
I'll say Batgirl gets the rest of the gang out while Blue fights, and Blue takes back control.
Yep, and then of course, as all of this is happening, this is when Shimmer burns the wall and starts making water come in.
Floods the whole area with water. Batgirl has the whole team leave on the ship without Jaime, who stays to fight.
Yep, who stays to fight. And I forget what happens. Like the fighting ensues. Like we're talking like they even do like Jaime combines both of his arms and shoots a giant beam.
Black and Blue are blasting each other, but Blue manages to escape through the hole that Shimmer made
by accident. By mind.
Actually, he's like kind of passed out.
Yeah, because he's kind of passed out, but then the pressure and the current just like takes him out.
Yeah, Lagan manages to save Jaime and bring him onto the ship.
Yep.
Megan is still pretty zonked out from that whole situation.
Yeah, from the whole ordeal. And of course, Blue Beetle wakes up and sees that, Impulse is just like, hey, it's like, hey, dude. And of course, Jaime's like, it's me!
Oh, before that, we see when Megan's still zonked, Dick asks her to drive the ship, and she's still kind of, and then Beast Boy tells her, she mind blanked Cal. And this one we see the Watchtower?
We
telling Captain Atom and Aquaman about the Reach.
Yep, and how they were successful and how they know about the Reach, and but they moved their ship elsewhere.
Yep, but like I just keep saying, don't worry, we have all the information that we can expose them. Just as that, we see the news.
Aquaman's like, hey, by the way, you should probably see this. Yep. And we get. Are you ready for this? G. Gordon covering a segment where these new aliens have come to like the United Nations.
Yeah, pretty much.
And introduce themselves.
Yeah, they've openly said it. He's like, this is great. This is wonderful.
Hey, we need... This is exactly how aliens should. And the Reach are like, we are the Reach. We are peaceful. And we want to help your planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, we welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, it's very silly.
And of course, G. Gordon's like, now, here's how you do it, folks.
Yeah.
You just do it nicely and through the front door. Not like some leaguers we know.
Yeah, Dick says at least they know what they're up against, and we see
go
a
to
huge fleet.
The Mariana Trench.
Yep, and we see a huge fleet.
Just a huge fleet underneath.
And that is where they end the episode.
End.
I'm glad, the Reach, I'm so barely familiar. Like, I think Crisis on Infinite Earths ended with Jaime first getting the Beetle, which is a huge comic event for when he became Blue Beetle.
Oh, so it's that funny, huh?
Funny?
Comic.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway,
I like the character a lot in this. He's really cool, and also he's like popped up in the last episode.
I have to admit, I never knew much about Blue Beetle except for Injustice and that stuff. But seeing Jaime and Blue Beetle in this, I actually do like him a lot.
He's also in Batman the Brave and the Bold, pretty featured heavily, but...
I don't watch that, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my goodness, there was a lot that went in. And, dude, again, I love and hate Black Beetle.
Beetle's great.
Well, I hate him because you're supposed to do that with villains. That means he's a good villain for me to hate him. But I also love him because, first off, I'm going to say this again. That voice.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh my goodness, I love that. He was the best casting for that.
He was incredible,
and, of course, he's Blue Beetle, only stronger.
Yeah, his abilities are great. His the appearance looks really cool, and also the character is really evil and awesome. It's a really
he's amazing.
He's an amazing character. I'm glad I'm getting to see more of him.
And like we said about in the last episode, the Terror Twins being in their element, not like someone else's being. It was so happy. I was so happy.
Yeah, Blue Beetle's fantastic. I'm glad he's such a great... Black Beetle's so fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And Blue Beetle's great, too, and I like the Reach. Like I said, I barely know anything about them, but I think they all look cool.
They're interesting. Like, at this point, they are very interesting.
Yeah, and we're going to find out more in 2 weeks when we cover that batch of episodes, but I loved it. I'm really happy about this one we had. Or any plugs?
Any plugs? No, but... I mean, I'm working on a few things, especially that Facebook page. I keep promising you guys. There were a lot of hitches at my in my personal life, but now I should be able to actually start doing that now.
All right,
But people who already who watch the show a lot, or even new ones, know that you have plenty of plugs.
Of
what
course,
are they?
Matthew Lewis P on Twitter, Matthew Lewis Podcasts on Patreon, Matthew Lewis Podcasts on YouTube. Also, I don't know where you're listening to it, but you can also find the podcast on Apple iTunes, or the RSS feed's always in link somewhere. I hope you guys enjoy and keep listening.
Yep, keep it Yeah, keep listening and enjoy the night.
Yep, keep it... What?
Hey,
keep it sleazy.
We're trying different things.
Right.
At least I'm trying, darn it, rather than just going with
I like keeping it sleazy. I like keeping it sleazy, guys. Bye.